I'll move to our next talk by Dr. Arun Kshetrapal. We'll have the question and answer session at the end.
So good evening, everybody, and thank you, Vishal. Thank you, Nitesh. Thank you, Jaipur Ophthalmological Society. Great talk by Dr. Raju and Dr. Khanduja. Very innovative guys and very in-depth knowledge of the system. What I'll be presenting is how do you go about slit lamp photography or slit lamp imaging. So basically, why do you need a slit lamp imaging? So basically, the needs are like for teaching, for counseling the patient, record keeping, medical legal aspects, to know the progression of the treatment you've given, and of course, nowadays when everything is under lockdown and not many patients visiting you, telemedicine is one of the upcoming scope for slit lamp imaging. So this is how you explain the progression here. Let me annotate and so here is a tumor which is a surface squamous carcinoma, and this is after the treatment, what the patient eye looked like after 3 weeks of treatment. So imaging can be a direct external photography, or it can be a slit lamp photography. Slit lamp, you can either use the eyepieces or the oculars of the slit lamp, or you can use a beam splitter fitted onto the slit lamp. I'll just come to them one by one. So direct imaging, you can do it directly, image the eye with the help of a mobile camera or a DSLR camera. So where will you use a direct imaging? I usually use it to show the gross pathology of the eye, something like maybe a nodular episcleritis or the adnexal pathology. They're best demonstrated or best showed by direct imaging. You don't need a slit lamp for them. Or when you want to show both the eyes of the patient, as here in this case, showing a heterochromia. And in slit lamp imaging, you can either use the ocular or the eyepiece, or you can fit in a beam splitter here, which splits the beam coming, going about 80% of the light is going to the oculars and 20% going to the camera. So I'll talk about slit lamp imaging using oculars. It is a very cheap and economical way of doing photography. Again, we have improvised so many things, and one part of the optics is used for capturing the image is already taken care by the oculars. So the eyepiece is already taken care of the optics. So the system becomes very, very cheap. So this is a small video. Either what you can do is you can click it directly. You can hold your phone, whatever phone you have, directly over the eyepiece. The disadvantage here is that you are never stable and the image is always moving. So you are not able to get a stabilized image or a good image, and you need to center it yourself every time. So if you don't have anything, you can just take your camera, mobile phone camera, put it on the eyepiece and click a photography and click a photograph. So this is one of the way, this is a very, very crude way of doing a photography. What I use is a very cheap thing. All you need is a lid cap I'll just show you the lid cap and a mobile phone. Everybody has a mobile phone, a smartphone with them. So what you need is a cap, something like this, which fits onto the eyepiece of your slit lamp. So this is a cap of the Tasky solution, the Tasky which we get for cleaning the floor and everything. So you can take that cap and you can make a hole in the center of this cap. You just need to make a hole here, and then what you do is just see that this cap fits onto the ocular of the eyepiece of the slit lamp. Once you've done this part, you stick 2 tapes on it. Maybe you can stick more than 2 tapes, 4 tapes also. These are the tapes with both sides are sticking. Both the sides of the tape have adhesive, so you can stick on both the sides. So first you stick on the cap, and then you remove the covering of this adhesive, and you stick it over the camera, and you keep the camera right in the center of this hole which you have already made. And then, so this looks something like this. This is your camera, and this is the lid which you have adhered to your camera, mobile phone. And then you insert this cap onto the eyepiece, and you have a mobile camera ready for taking the photograph. Here you can see that the image is very much stabilized, and you get a very clear, sharp image of the eye. So this is one of the very cheap way, and this is the side view. So this is inserted onto the eyepiece of the slit lamp. And if you can appreciate that the image is very sharp, I'll show you the images later on. So this is one of the way. Another way is you can make use of this attachment which comes, you can buy it on the Amazon. This is costing hardly 800 rupees. This part goes over the eyepiece or the ocular of the slit lamp, and this is for holding the mobile phone. So what you do is you screw this on the ocular or the eyepiece of the slit lamp, and then you slide in your camera and slide in such a way that the camera of the phone is in the center of the eyepiece, and then you can click the photograph. Then you can use a beam splitter. Here, if you can appreciate that there's a beam splitter, this beam splitter has come with the company, and you can fit a camera over it. This is a very cheap video camera costing around 25,000 rupees. You can go in for a better camera also, and there are attachments available for fixing up a DSLR camera as well. I think Dr. Raju, Dr. Khanduja will be able to tell you better about it. And this is one of the innovation made by Dr. Satish Sheth. He has developed this beam splitter along with an attachment for a DSLR camera. And there's again an attachment on which you can fit an iPhone or a mobile camera, a beam splitter here, and an attachment of optics so that you can focus the image onto your mobile phone and record it on the mobile phone. Some tips and tricks on doing photography. You can use a diffuser. Many times your slit lamp may come with a diffuser, light diffuser. If it doesn't have a light diffuser, you can use a butter paper and keep it on the mirror of the slit lamp to diffuse the light to get a image of the eye where you don't need a slit. So then I'll be sharing some photographs. So here is a photograph onto your right. The same photograph onto the right. This is without the external light. You can just see the slit, and you can see the iris in focus, but you can not see the rest of the eye because it's all dark. If you use an extra light from the side, you can use it a torch light from the side so that you can see the other structures of the eye as well, and the image becomes more presentable. You can do a side view and a retro illumination. This is a microspherophakia. So this is different way of photographing, putting your things. You can use a retro illumination here. This is a postcorneal haze, opacified IOL. Here I've used a diffuse light. I haven't used a slit lamp, slit light, because the slit will not show you diffuse haze which is there. Now you can, while taking a photograph, if you can see that this is a direct illumination and here's a foreign body. The foreign body is not well demarcated in the direct illumination. There's a lot of reflection from the foreign body inside, and there's a hyper exposure, there's a more of an exposure. So what you can do is you can use an indirect illumination wherein you throw the light onto the iris and view the foreign body under indirect illumination where it is better visualized. So some of the tips and tricks to photograph. And here, this is in the diffuse illumination. You can see that there's some pathology here. But what this pathology is exactly, so if you take a diffuse illuminating photograph in this, you will not come to know what the pathology is. But if you use a slit beam, you can see that this is a bully, where you can see the anterior surface of the bully and the posterior surface of a bulla. So you need to judge yourself where you want to use a slit photography, or where you want to use a diffuse light, or you want to use a slit illumination. This is an overexposed, too much of light, too much of reflection from the cataract. Nothing is visible. So you need to reduce the light. This is underexposed, and this is what we call an optimally exposed photograph, where all the structures of the eye are clearly visible. So you need to keep the exposure in your mind. You don't need to overexpose or underexpose. You can do this as Dr. Raju has mentioned. You can either alter your shutter, the aperture size, or you can alter the ISO. Now, this is too bright an image. You can't see what's happening here, what the person want to show you. And if you adjust the light, if you decrease the light, or you decrease the aperture size, or decrease the ISO, you are able to see the pathology, what is there. So this is a LASIK flap which has shifted a bit. So you need to adjust your aperture and ISO in each and every case, and of course your light as well. Here, a diffuse light, you can see a lot of folds in the Descemet's membrane. And again, retroillumination, where the magnification will help you in these cases. This will give you a overall view, and this is giving you a more magnified view. What's happened is, if you can appreciate that there's a break in the claw has broken down, so this has come out of the iris. So magnification has its role. So what I would like to say in the end is that you need to adjust your aperture and the lightning and ISO in each and every case, individualize it so that you get a good photograph. And you don't need to go in for a high-end equipment like beam splitters and adapters and high-end cameras. You can take such photographs with your mobile camera as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arun sir. Excellent talk and stunning photographs on the slit lamp. My next to-do list will be to buy that white cap you described and stick on my, spare iPhone next week.